This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Now we turn to our next segment in Android Basics, and although John isn't here today, as you'll have gathered from the introduction, he has provided all the pre-recorded content. This first segment from John continues our look at Samsung UI, and he's going into the battery settings, and I don't know if his battery's gone flat with all this recording, which is why he's not here, but here is his demonstration.
Hi, today we're going to continue our series on Samsung One UI settings, and we'll be covering the battery settings today. I am currently running One UI 6.0. I'm in the main settings page right now, and what we're going to look for is
battery, power saving charging.
And I'm going to open it.
Battery, navigate up, button.
And starting at the top, we first have
1 day 5 hours left.
An estimate of how long our battery will last.
90% available.
Mine's currently at 90%.
1 day 9 hours. Power saving.
And then under that we have power saving options. So I'm going to go in here so we can see what we have.
Power saving, navigate up, button. Power saving battery life, 1 day 17 hours. Background network usage, syncing, and location checking will be limited, and motion smoothness will be changed to standard up to 60 Hz. Power saving options. Choose additional limits to save battery when power saving is on.
So that's just a general description of power saving mode, which I currently have off. Above that description is the switch.
Power saving, off, switch.
And below that description are the additional options you have.
Turn off always on display. On, switch. Limit CPU speed to 70%. On, switch. Decrease brightness by 10%. On, switch. Limit apps and home screen. For maximum power saving, allow only selected apps, limit all background activity, turn off edge panels, and change to a dark theme. Off, switch.
So those are the 4 options you have as far as customizing power saving mode. It's something you can turn on manually. You can have it as a quick setting, or you could have it come on at a certain battery percentage using routines. I'm going to back out of here.
Battery, power saving.
And next we have
Off, power saving,
the
switch.
switch for it, which is off.
Background usage limits.
Then we have background usage limits.
Background usage limits. Navigate up, button.
And in here we have
Put unused apps to sleep. Off, switch.
whether or not we want to put unused apps to sleep automatically. I have that turned off.
Never auto sleeping apps, 0.
And we have 3 sections here. Never sleeping apps,
Sleeping apps, 0.
sleeping apps,
Deep sleeping apps, 29.
and deep sleeping apps. I'll go in here to show how you can add or remove apps from each of these lists.
Deep sleeping apps. Navigate up, button. Deep sleeping apps will never run in the background and may not receive updates or notifications. They'll only work when you open them.
So that's the definition.
User added.
User added.
Max.
Apparently I added Max, formerly HBO Max. It must have been crashing or something in the background.
Automatically added.
And then there's a whole bunch that have automatically been added. I won't go through that list, but if you were to double tap on one of these apps, it would just take you to the app info for that app. So if you want to remove these from the list or add new ones,
More options, button.
you can go to more options at the top.
Pop-up window. Remove.
I'm going to hit remove.
Deep sleeping apps. Not checked. Checkbox. All.
There's a checkbox for all. And then There's the list with checkboxes next to each app. I'm just going to back out of this.
Cancel button. Navigate up button.
And near the top right corner to the left of the More Options button
Add apps button.
is the Add Apps button. This is where you can manually add specific apps that you want to be in this category. I'm going to go back.
Background usage limits. Deep sleeping apps 29.
And this background usage limits page where you can set which apps are never sleeping, sleeping, or deep sleeping. This only applies to apps that are set to be optimized. So when you go in here and you want to add apps to either 3 of these categories, the only apps you'll be able to add to this is apps that are set to optimize in their battery settings. So if you go to the app info for a specific app, you'll have a battery section and you'll have 3 settings. You'll have unrestricted, optimized, and restricted. Any app that is set to optimize will show up in this list of apps here. And then you can choose how it's optimized in this section of background usage limits. Most apps by default are set to optimize, assuming they're not system apps or something similar. So I'm going to back out of this section.
Battery. Background usage limits.
And next we have
Protect battery. To extend the lifespan of your battery, limit the maximum charge to 85%. Off. Switch.
That's exactly what it sounds like. If you want your phone to stop charging when it gets to 85%, you can turn this on. I like having mine at 100% when I get started, so that's why that's off.
Today.
And then we have our battery usage under that.
Last charge to 100%. Stopped charging 2 hours 16 minutes ago. Today. Graph.
And if you double tap on this graph,
Battery activity. Navigate up button.
it'll take you to the activity.
Battery level. Heading. November 21st. Graph.
So this is the graph for today.
Charging. Power saving. Battery usage. Heading.
And here's my usage.
Battery usage. 8%.
I've used 8%.
Screen on time. 1 hour 14 minutes.
It's still early in the day. I've only used my phone screen on for 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Battery usage and screen on time. Button.
This is probably just a description of it, but I'll press it.
Battery usage and screen on time. Battery usage and screen on time don't include any time when your phone is charging. System usage may appear on battery usage chart when there is no app usage.
Okay.
OK. Button. Battery activity. Battery usage and screen on time. Button.
Next we have
Last 7 days. Graph.
a graph of the next 7 days, which is not described to us. I think it's just some sort of bar graph.
Graph.
Another graph.
Battery use.
And then here we'll show you app by app usage.
Telegram. 1 hour 8 minutes on screen. 5.6%.
That's used 5.6% of my battery.
Speech recognition and synthesis from Google. Less than 1 meter on screen. 0.4%.
And so on. So basically you can see I've only been on Telegram today, but it'll sort your apps by what's used the most battery. And that's the last thing on this page. I'm going to back out.
Battery. Today. Graph.
And below this graph is
Charging. Power saving. Battery usage. 9%.
another breakdown of the battery usage. So this is just a short version of the page we were just on.
Telegram. 6.2%.
So it'll just show you a couple of your
Speech
apps.
recognition and synthesis from Google. Gmail. 0.3%. View details. Button.
And then you'll have a view details button that will take you the same place we just were, that we also got to by clicking on the graph above. So after this, we have
Charging settings.
charging settings. I'm going to go in here.
Charging settings. Navigate up. Button.
I think we have 3 settings in here. The first,
Show charging information. Show battery level and estimated time until full when always on display is off or not shown. Off. Switch.
so I have this turned off because it doesn't seem to make a difference for me, and it doesn't seem to affect talkback. So if there is something shown on the screen while it's off and charging, I can't see it and talkback can't see it. So I just have this disabled. Next we have,
Fast charging. On. Switch.
and that's whether you want your phone to charge fast or not.
Fast wireless charging.
Same with fast wireless charging. So if you're one of those who are worried about battery health, you can disable fast charging and have your phone always charge itself slowly. I'm going to back out.
Battery. Charging settings.
Next we have,
Wireless power sharing.
let's go in here.
Wireless power sharing. Navigate up. Button.
So at the top of the screen, there's a switch to turn it on.
Wireless power sharing. Off. Switch.
And below this, I think, is just a description.
Put the center of your phone back to back with another device. If you have trouble connecting or charging is slow, remove any cover from each device. Wireless power sharing will stop when you make a call, receive a call, or use the camera. Works with most Qi-compatible devices. Different devices may charge at different speeds. Battery limit, 30%.
And then here's an option to change the battery percentage you want to disable this at. So if you're using your phone to charge another device, the default is 30%. If your battery gets down to 30%, it will stop charging the other device, but you can go in here and customize this to any percentage you want. I'm going to back out.
Battery, wireless power sharing.
Next we have
Show battery percentage, on, switch.
whether or not we want the battery percentage to show, and this applies to the status bar at the top of the screen, but this is a purely visual thing, so whether you have this switch on or off, TalkBack will read out the percentage when you highlight the battery level in the status bar. Whether it's an actual number or just a symbol of the battery, TalkBack will still say the percentage, so this is purely visual.
Battery information.
Next we have battery information. I'm going to open this.
Battery information. Navigate up, button. Battery status, not charging.
So it tells me my battery's not charging.
Battery level, 88%.
Tells me my battery level.
Battery capacity, 5,000 milliamp hours typical.
And tells me the capacity. So this page is basically useless. I don't think there's nothing like battery health, battery cycles, anything like that. It's just stuff you probably already know. I don't know why this page exists, honestly. I'm going to back out.
Battery information.
And battery information is the last item in the battery settings on a Samsung phone. So I'm now going to send it back to the crew for further battery discussion.
Do you do much with your battery settings, folks? Sally, is this something you tend to look at?
Well, something new is that on Android 14, you have battery settings in device care and also separate battery settings in the main settings interface. So there are 2 battery settings, and they're basically doing the same.
What I really like about the battery settings is you have that ability in there. Like someone like me, frankly, I'd never been in there until I heard John's preamble, because the Samsung device is not my primary device. But my doctrine has always been that I don't charge my phone past 84 or at the most 85, unless, of course, I forget it. And so it was nice to see that, yeah, you could just turn that feature on so that by default, when it reaches that 85, it turns off the charging for you. And so I went in and turned mine on because I'm not one of those that like to charge my phone up to 100%. I think it's a battery killer, that's my belief.
Do you also do that on your Pixel regularly, or
On my Pixel, I never let it charge beyond 80, 84 at the most.
I'm a bit the other way. I tend to sweat my battery more in various respects. So the main reason I tend to go into battery settings is to turn all the power saving off. I try not to have any apps restricted, just so the phone does kind of what it's supposed to do, because you get that weird battery optimizing behavior that can somehow interfere with an app. And I always charge it to 100%, only because it's generally more important to have my phone available off a charger for a full charging cycle than it is to prolong the life of the battery, just because I tend to change my phones before the batteries have died. I get that not everybody does that, and it might be a real thing to think about when you've got a Pixel 8 or 8 Pro with 7 years worth of software updates. Maybe it is worth being more mindful about the battery in that scenario. But I tend to work my batteries quite hard.
so speaking of the battery, when I upgrade to Android 14, I realized that when the battery is down below 10%, the phone is getting way too slower. I don't know if they're gonna fix it with this next security update, but this is getting kind of slow, and it's interesting. I don't know why. Maybe they're turning all those battery saving mode, all the optimizations, and all of those things to get you more battery, but the phone is getting slower. Interestingly.
Now, this is on your Galaxy
S23.
23, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So if you're observing that, probably is something to report. But because what happened was that this S23 or the beta 1 UI 6 went through like 9 betas. I mean, even more than Google did. So there was some problem there.
One of
And
the settings I spotted in John's demo on the Samsung was about slowing the CPU down, though. So I wonder if that's kicked in. That would seem a fairly obvious to slow a phone down, just like throttle the CPU, and that seems to be a setting in Samsung's batteries.
okay, there's one another side note. It's not related to battery settings though, but Samsung Turkey was giving away 6 months of Amazon Prime for Samsung users, and all of the Fruitvale users trying to get it. I mean, if you want to get Amazon Prime, just get a Samsung, because Apple is not going to give you anything for free. Yeah.
So let's just say the Turks love their Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin, do you mess about with your battery? Do you charge it fully, or do you let it charge to 80%?
I think I am such a person that I overcharge my phone if there is something called overcharging. Once my phone is connected to a charger, I don't sit and watch whether my battery is at 85%, 80%. I keep it at 100%, and sometimes I don't even remove it out of the charger.
I'll never buy a
I know-
used phone from you.
I do love the Xiaomi hypercharge. Like, if I forget to charge my phone overnight, it can be flat, and I'll put it on the charger, have a shower, go have my breakfast, and before I leave for work, it'll be 100%. Like, charging up to 100 in under half an hour is amazing. Like I say, I'm sure it does it no good at all, but it's just so quick.
What I
Okay.
noticed in John's preamble is that I didn't hear a couple things, and maybe it's there because mine is still running One UI 5X. There's a supercharge and super fast charge in there. I have both of mine turned off. By default, it seems like the fast charge was turned off, but the super fast charge was not turned off. So I turned both of those off.
So there's the thing, when you turn them both off, the phone is getting charged within 3 hours. It's really healthy if you got enough time, but when you turn on the supercharging, it's gonna be like in 1 hour.
Yeah, and I don't, I'm not running anywhere. Like I said, this is not my main device. So I only, charge it when I want to, do something that has to do with Samsung, like recording a preamble for the podcast.
How about you, Karina? Are you nice to your batteries, or do you hurt them?
So I'm the person who charges the phone from 25 when it's at 25 or 20%, something like that, and I keep it until it's 100%. And not only that, because I read somewhere that when it shows you that it's at 100%, it's not really at 100%. So you need to keep it for a few minutes more to go to the full capacity. So I do this as well, and I keep it for a few minutes to be sure that it is 100% fully. And I don't remember that I faced issues with batteries unless one phone, it's one only, except with one phone, which was the Z1 Compact. It has a battery issue, and that lead to making me change the phone for the battery. However, this A71 is with me since 3 years, and I think it's going well. So I don't think that I'm going bad with the battery. So another thing I want to talk about with respect to Samsung's battery is the optimization. They are so aggressive in the battery optimization thing. So even if you if you just I have WhatsApp, for example, it's exempt from any optimization. And at the same time, if I lock the screen and I wait for 5 minutes, I will get a missed call notification. This means that the call will not go through because WhatsApp was restricted. Despite everything that I did, everything that I could do to stop this, but it keeps doing that. So, and it was the worst offender with respect to battery optimization thing, according to the latest statistics. So I think they should stop doing this Chinese thing that Chinese OEMs used to do, and to give us more freedom. Yeah.
Now,
So
now, Karine, now here's I kind of this is interesting though. I'm kind of wondering though, did this always happen, or as the battery degrades, then it started doing this? Because if you've had it for 3 years, probably the battery health is not what it was, and maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing. Or has it always been this way?
I remember when I did, I think to Android 12, it started to be that aggressive, or I don't remember which if it was Android 12 or Android 11. But I'm telling you something which is based the statistics. I don't remember which did the study, but they were they were showing the worst um, the worst OEM with respect to battery optimizations, which started to become like this recently.
Yeah, Xiaomi is pretty aggressive, and they have a killer combination of battery optimization and their security app, which is kind of avast powered. So if you have battery optimization and security,
one?
like the poor apps,
He's
it's just
talking about the
inbuilt.
Xiaomi.
Yeah,
Xiaomi, okay.
the MIUI. Yeah, they're very aggressive as well. So you can kill them by turning off Xiaomi optimizations and then sorting the battery out. So you then have a slightly less Xiaomi-ish Xiaomi phone. But yeah, they were quite aggressive. Did you say earlier, Karine, that you had the XZ1 Compact, your other phone, that had battery issues?
Yeah, no, I had the Z1 Compact, yeah.
From Sony?
Yeah, I had it for 2 years.
Yeah, I had that phone.
It was great. Yeah, I like this
I liked
small
it.
screen, 4.3, and yeah, it was something amazing.
And it had quite good speakers for a phone that size.
It was one speaker, but it was good, yeah, but it wasn't stereo speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep the Sonys. No, I just saying. I love you, but I don't see me paying $2,500 for a phone.
Yeah, me too. That's crazy.
If one is into, video, the Sony phone is the thing to get. I don't think anyone comes close to
Yeah.
what they do. But outside of that, frankly, there's nothing else to write home about.
But they feel lovely, like they're lovely in the hand.
Oh,
You know
brother,
it's a
that boxy
premium,
thing. I
very
hate that
expensive product.
boxy feel.
They're nice. No, they're good. It's a although
don't.
sadly my poor Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, it got its last security update in July. I think it's dead now for updates.